Jason Miller.
All right, thank you.
Addison. Following Addison is Nairi.
Hello, City Council. 1, I would like you to reconsider the recent arrest of Mally Hampton. Did you turn my mic down? Sorry. And to free her and drop all charges. Mally's place is not behind bars. It is here with us, creating awareness and change in Sacramento. Yes. 2, Sacramento is a beautiful gem, but what makes Sacramento not so beautiful and actually disgusting is the way that the police force here criminalizes homeless people, drunk people in Midtown, and makes nonviolent protests violent. I have heard someone getting hit with batons because she was drunk in public. Batons, bruises on her legs for I don't even know. But apparently you can't enjoy yourself in Midtown on a Saturday night without getting assaulted by the police, without doing anything wrong, nothing wrong. So we wouldn't be here every single Tuesday if things were safer and better and the police were helping us and not beating us and making the non-violent protests that we put on violent and assaulting us with horses, or showing up at the houses and arresting us. So please drop the charges against Mally, check your police force, and stop, have them stop beating up people, and we're good. So free Mally Hampton.
Nairi going once, twice, okay?
Is it N-Y-R-E-E? Nairi? Emily?
Hey, so, my shirt, free Miley. All right, I'm here to say that charges against Miley Hampton need to be dropped. It is a horrible shame that my friend Miley has seen more time in a jail cell than the killer cops we often speak out against in public, peacefully, often here in Sacramento. This can only happen in a broken system. We call upon the City Council to take action in regard to the unjust and trumped-up charges against Miley Hampton, a 20-year-old African-American activist. She's only 20. As of 6 p.m. tonight, Miley was being held on an outrageous bail of $100,000 on protest-related charges that occurred over a month ago. $100,000 bail. She's 20 years old. Her arrest and bail are clearly meant by Sacramento PD to intimidate and silence the Black Lives Matter movement that has swept across the country and this city. We demand that the charges against Miley be dropped. We demand that the charges against Miley be dropped. We demand that the charges against Miley be dropped. We demand that the charges against Miley be dropped.
Christina?
Christina Rechiga?
We demand that the charges against Miley be dropped. We demand that the charges against Miley be dropped. We demand that the charges against Miley be dropped.
We're gonna have people excused if you don't conduct yourselves, please. We want to get through as many speakers as we can. Christina, you're up. Thank you. Yep.
Following Christina will be Forrest Schmidt.
Forrest not here. I'm so upset at what happened to Miley. I can't even tell you how much this community has been hurt. We do the work that none of you want to do. We're out there with the poor. We're out there with the homeless. We're out there with the gangs. We're doing the work that you don't bring us up here and give us photo ops or give us awards for. We don't ask you for no money. We ask you for one thing, that the police act in a responsible and respectful manner to the citizens of this city. It's not that hard. Why is this happening today? Why did the Sacramento Police Department decide to pursue a case against Miley, put her in jail for lynching, at $100,000 bail, send 6 police officers to her home in 4 police cars in the late evening? So of course we couldn't contact a lawyer, we couldn't do anything but let her sit in jail overnight. Why did that happen? Who is responsible for that? You are responsible for that. You asked me to trust you. I'm working with these people. I'm working with the community to do what needs to be done. My cousin was murdered by a police officer. I don't even like to be near them, but yet I'm having meetings with them so that I can make my community better. I'm doing that because you asked me to do it. And this is the way the Sacramento PD needs to be addressed immediately.
All right.
Kevin?
Dear Mr. Mayor and members of City Council, as you stated much earlier this evening, Mayor Kevin Johnson, this is a council based on values and on people. If this is truly the case, you will understand that not only is Miley Hampton undeserving of the charges leveled against her, she is a vital part of the Sacramento community and the Davis community, because she's organized with us as well, as a committed, passionate, nonviolent activist for peace and justice. The charges leveled against Miley are not only a miscarriage of justice and an unnecessary use of taxpayer money, which we all know we never get enough of, right? No city ever does. They are fundamentally counter to this city's council's stated values, to this city's stated values. They are fundamentally counter to the values that you stated at the beginning of this council. So please drop the charges against Miley Hampton. Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah.
Following Kyla Burke will be Benjamin Ross.
Hello, Mayor and members of the Council. I'm speaking here today to demand that the charges against Miley Hampton be dropped. Miley is an amazing young woman who is involved with various social movements in this area. I know Miley through her work with the Black Lives Matter and anti-police brutality movement. I'm a UC Davis student and organizer, and Miley takes the time to come and show up to our events and help us plan, and she is thoroughly dedicated. She tries her hardest to make positive change in the community and in the world at large. Having her in jail benefits no one and is a despicable attempt to punish an anti-police brutality activist. Having Miley in jail would be a horrible injustice and waste the taxpayer money. We demand that the charges against Miley be dropped.
Benjamin? Following Benjamin will be Alyssa Pena.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I wanted to let you know that it is my estimation that Miley Hampton is a political prisoner in Sacramento this evening. She was arrested with the deliberate goal of intimidating our movement. She is one of our most important leaders, and these charges are ridiculous. You are charging a 20-year-old African-American woman with lynching. Does that not sound like an absurd thing to you? And I want you to know that this intimidation is not going to have the effect that you want it to on our movement. In fact, it's actually made us come out in greater numbers this evening because we will not stand for it. It is the year 2015, and she is a political prisoner in Sacramento. I want you to know that there are multiple ways you can go about addressing this. You can take one path, which is the path that I think is probably most likely, and do nothing. Or you can actually make Sacramento an innovator in the way that we police, in the way that we are responsible and accountable to the communities that make up our greater city. And those are really the two options. And freeing Miley is would be an indication that you are committed to working with this activist movement and not trying to undermine it. And I would like to speak directly to the police officers who are in the back there. We want to believe in you, but you make it really, really hard. Okay, we want to believe that there are good cops, but I haven't seen anything in my 24 years that indicates that there is such a thing. So if you would like to demonstrate that that exists, I would encourage you to try and work with us. We'd be happy to work together to find a way to make policing safe so that we don't have to feel afraid for our lives in the streets of our communities just for walking around. And I don't have to experience that because I am a white male. But I have a conscience, and I want to stand here in solidarity with Miley Hampton and demand her freedom and her charges be dropped. Thank you.
Alyssa? Okay.
I'm so proud of you, baby. Obviously, we're here in unity and solidarity to let you all know, Kevin Johnson and council members, that most definitely, you guys need to free Miley. She's 20 years old. Lynching? Seriously? This is appalling. This is absolutely hypocrisy. Talking about someone who works along with you guys to try to stick up for you guys, works with the homeless community, works with gang members, works with those that, are in poverty, middle class. How's respect for you guys? I can't stand any of you, especially you, Kevin Johnson. But you know what? Regardless, we are here in solidarity to free Miley. And you know what? My princess has something to say as well.
Miley should be free because she does not deserve to be in prison. She is very nice and kind. She should be out of prison.
Out of the mouths of babes. We're done.
Farah? Farah Shields? Is Farah here? Okay, Frank Topping?
Hello, City Council members. Kevin Johnson. I'm in District 8. I actually came out here to speak about the mass incarceration of our black youth. I would like to start out with a quote from Martin Luther King, who once said, "One has a moral obligation to disobey unjust laws." It's no secret that the protesters of Sacramento have had a tumultuous relationship with the Sacramento Police Department. The result of this conflict between law enforcement and the protesters will only slow the progress that protesters seek in creating a better world for themselves and their children. We will not be stopped. Violence will only ensue if the progress for a better world is stifled. The incarceration of Miley Hampton is a blatant strike at that very progress. With as many unprosecuted crimes and neglected citizens of this city, it is very obvious this young, intelligent woman has been specifically targeted as a community organizer. I only ask you to remember what it feels like to have hope that this world can be a better place. I would like to close with a statement from Henry David Thoreau. This says, "Disobedience is the true foundation of liberty. The obedient must be slaves."
Frank? Following Barry is John Easter.
Mayor, council members, forgive me for my demeanor at this point. Tired. I just came back from San Diego, a college tour with 12 youth in almost everyone's district's area, and these are the things that we are pushing for our youth to have a voice, our youth to have change, our youth to speak truth. So when I heard the news of Miley being arrested, I asked myself and I wondered, what was this all about? A young woman, 20 years old, black woman, standing up, doing the right thing. And when I come here, it perplexes me to think that in 2 hours, with all the shootings and the murders that's happening right now in our Sacramento area, we just got done talking about the Kings, and we haven't talked about the youth that are getting murdered and what we're going to do and what kind of plans are we going to have to help. But then in that same notion, I look at one of our colleagues is in jail right now. Who can help? Who can do the work? And all for what? The situation that we have here between us and the police is very critical. With this intimidation tactic, as we all know, it's very much an intimidation tactic, as targeting, who's next? Will it be me? Will it be another one of my comrades who will be arrested for some type of charge because we're standing up against a system that is racist, a system that is based on white supremacy, a system that is here to derail, to oppress us? Please, council, mayor, tell us what are we supposed to do? As you've asked for us to work with the police, be appropriate with the police, and then a stunt like this happens. What are we supposed to do? If fighting for justice and truth should get us arrested, please arrest me now.
All right, Nikki James there? Going once, twice. Okay, Nikki.
So there are too many things weighing heavy on my heart tonight. I'm feeling very heavily the loss of liberty of community organizer and comrade Miley Hampton. I stand with others here tonight in lament and frustration at her targeted and selectively enforced arrest and demand that all charges be dropped. I'm also feeling the weight of watching my brothers and sisters, my friends, deal with harassment and criminalization of their socioeconomic status every day. Have you ever thought of what it does to a young person's mind to know that there is virtually nowhere that you can sleep tonight in the city that's legal? Unfortunately, I do. I'm tired tonight from spending my day convincing another 20-year-old woman of color, not Miley, another 20-year-old woman of color who is experiencing a mental health crisis, spending my day convincing her that despite the discrimination she's faced specifically from this city's police force, and specifically despite the hopelessness she feels seeing a lack of response from her city, from her government, excuse me, I'm having to spend my day convincing her that it's worth it to continue to love others, and heartbreakingly, that it's worth it to live. Could you continue to support these discriminatory laws, this ordinance, if that was your job every day? But I feel her hopelessness, and I feel her rage. But conversely,
Nikki,
as I
we need
see,
your final thought, Nikki.
absolutely right on it, Mayor, conversely, as I see and I hear my brothers and sisters speak out for change, for our laws to align with justice, I'm encouraged that a different reality can exist. And in my hopelessness, I'm here speaking with you tonight with desperation that maybe you can believe that too. Maybe you can believe that it can be different than this.
Thanks.
Okay, the next one is Anita Devers.
All right, Anita going once, twice. All right, Matt Palm. And then Christine Cross. And then Tony Bias.
You can't really see it. Hi, my name is Matt Palm. I am a doctoral student at UC Davis. My research is on the intersection of affordable housing and sustainable transportation policy. So much of tonight was very interesting and exciting to me, but I'm here and I came to Sacramento to stand with Sacramento residents who want the charges dropped against Miley. I'm a member of the United Auto Workers 2865, or the Graduate Student Teaching Assistant Union at UC Davis. The people that grade all the papers. We have so much to do tonight. And I just want to quickly say why we care is that Miley has consistently reached out to us and worked with us. In her capacity as a community organizer, she's like this angel that just shows up with resources and help, and has shown her commitment to expanding affordability of higher education. So we in turn want to come here to show our support for her. And although I probably shouldn't say this, she's a bit brighter than quite a bit of the students I work with. And she belongs in our classrooms and not in jail. Thank you.
If you could relay this message to Alan Warren, it would be much appreciated. Okay. I say Black Lives Matter because if all lives mattered, a black man wouldn't be killed every 28 hours. If all lives mattered, I wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matters. If all lives mattered, I wouldn't be scared walking down the streets because of these police targeting my community. All lives do not matter in this society, and they never have. That's why I say Black Lives Matter. And it's no secret that the police are targeting activists that are essential in our communities to silence the Black Lives Matters movement. I was detained in a non-violent police protest by the police. It's no secret that they're trying to stop this movement, and they're causing rifts on purpose. And it's just the police, they either harass us or they don't give a shit about us. I was actually sleeping outside one night due to being unsafe in my home, and a police car rolls by, and I'm like, oh crap, I hope he doesn't make me move because I don't know where else to go where I would feel safe. And he doesn't even stop to see if I'm okay. He already sees that I'm a little black boy, and he doesn't give a shit whatever happens to me. So these police, they're not here to help everyone. They're not here. They're not our heroes. They are not our heroes. And they should not be starting schools. So please do not let that ever pass, because that terrifies the shit out of me. And and I stand here in unity also with the fact that Miley Hampton's charges should all be dropped. She's a beautiful young black woman fighting for change in this world, and she should not be silenced. And we will not be silenced. Free Miley.
That concludes public comments. Let me just make two comments on behalf of all of us. One is this law called lynching. Like, I never heard of that until tonight. And so I asked our city manager, how does this work? And it's a state law. And I think, is that right, city attorney?
Pass, because that terrifies the shit out of me. And and I stand here in unity also with the fact that Miley Hampton's charges should all be dropped. She's a beautiful young black woman fighting for change in this world, and she should not be silenced. And we will not be silenced. Free Miley.
All right. That concludes public comments. Let me just make two comments on behalf of all of us. One is this law called lynching. Like, I never heard of that until tonight. And so I asked our city manager, how does this work? And it's a state law. And I think, is that right, city attorney? It's a state law. So I think, from our standpoint, that doesn't set well for any of us. And I think on behalf of all of us, we'll take some initiative in terms of reaching out to the state and figuring out what kind of legislation could come forward, because there's just no place in society to have that law named something when somebody's caught in a situation that is not lynching. So that's number one. Exactly. And then secondly, I do want you guys to know that your voices are being heard. I know a lot of times you don't think we're as responsive or move as quickly as you need to, but Miley is somebody that I personally know. I think she's doing good in our community, and your voices are heard, so I'll just end it on that. So, Becky, any